So, last we left off, you guys finally arrived at half of Aaron's former tribe, where they're currently camping, at least, and you were able to meet with their current leader, Nethai the Voice, who was a skald in the Cave Runners, but then took up the mantle of leadership once the tribe broke apart. He's charismatic and passionate, and it's very clear that the people of the new tribe, the Snow Spears, hold him in high regard. And he wants to ensure that everyone's voices are heard when it comes to making decisions for the tribe. He was able to chat with you guys a bit about the history of his tribe and their version of what went down centuries ago. And though he did admit that if he had been there, he would have wanted to try to seek out a diplomatic solution. While he does come from a battle-focused warrior society, he doesn't really believe in unnecessary bloodshed. Afterwards, we had some nice conversations and backhanded compliments among the Wild Roses. Backhanded comments. While you were able to meet up with an apparent druid of the Snow Spears, a half drow with a prosthetic arm, who is able to help set up your guys' tent, and told you all that in the morning, should those of you that wish to join any of the tribesmen on a hunt, you may do so. Also, there was a child that was really delighted by Levy's dancing lights. Remembering what's going on. Eventually, you guys were all able to find your way back to your tent. And it's the early dawn where we find you all now. What would you guys like to do?
Did we get our long rest?
Yes, you did.
Oh, thank God. Do we recover our point of exhaustion?
I believe you regain 1 point of exhaustion per long rest. I will have to double check that. I'm not sure if you regain 1 or all.
D&D Beyond says that you can recover 1 level of exhaustion with food and drink, but I kind of assume that that's given to
the player or creature simply needs to take 1 long rest to recover 1 point of exhaustion. So that means if a player has 5 levels of exhaustion, they will also need 5 long rests before they're fully recovered.
Cool.
So, Tobias, I'm sorry. Aaron too, but to a lesser extent since you're not here today.
It's fine. I need to also remember to roll with disadvantage on ability checks and stuff, because I realized after last session I kept forgetting to do that.
Mm-hmm. So how you guys doing? You all can just stay in the cuddle pile in the tent? Anyone have any conversations?
I'm going to say that Hawk gets up early today.
Yeah.
He doesn't just lay there for a while as he usually does. He just As soon as he's gotten enough rest, he's out of the tent, waiting, watching, perhaps.
Tobias will get up early as well, but that's also because he told the leader of the tribe that he would assist with hunting. So he'll be getting up early to go with the hunting party.
Okay. Anyone else? Cat's touching my knee.
Just cuddling.
He's not even
Evie
cuddling.
will get up at her usual time and then find something to do.
Okay. Okay.
Amir is going to stay in the cuddle puddle as long as she friggin' can. And honestly, when Toby starts to move, she kind of clings on to him a little bit, but eventually lets go.
All right.
She craves that heat.
He'll make sure to tuck in all the blankets and stuff when he leaves, so that way it doesn't, bring in any cold air.
So for those of you staying in the tent, it's warm, it's comfortable. Those of you who are stepping out early, namely Hawk and Tobias, since you guys specifically said going early, you notice that the camp is never completely empty or silent. This is a harsh way of life up here. This is a harsh way of life up here, and the people who live in the tribe know that. There's someone, at least one person awake at all times, just in case they need to raise the alarm for anything. It's dangerous up here.
Is there, does it look like there's an obvious group of people gathering to go hunting, or at least is there just like one person out in the open that Tobias could approach and ask?
You do actually see Vitatus, the aforementioned druid, who seems like he had been meditating in the snow near where the bonfire used to be. You can kind of see the remains of the twigs and logs that had been used for the fire last night.
And is he done meditating, or is he currently meditating?
Roll an insight check.
Oof. The lower roll was a 4.
Or you can't really tell. But in the early morning light here, his drowish features seem to be more prominent, with his skin taking on a more grayish pallor.
Tobias will approach, like he's not making a huge racket and stuff, because obviously, it's early in the fucking morning.
Mm-hmm.
But he approaches, and when he is close, like he keeps a few feet of distance to make sure not imposing on personal space.
Mm-hmm.
But he quietly says, excuse me, his name is Vitatus?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Vitatus?
Vitatus immediately looks up at you and kind of just gives a friendly smile and says, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. I hope that I'm not interrupting your meditation. I wanted to, I offered to assist hunting parties for gathering food for the tribe, and I was wondering if or when the hunting party will be leaving.
You did not interrupt. Thank you for checking in about that, but I have just finished preparing my spells for the day. So since you are new, I will discuss with you how we do things in this area. We generally have two parties. There are those that go towards the woods to check all the snares that we set up for rabbits or anything, and then there are those that hunt bigger game out in the snow, in the tundra. It is up to you which party you would wish to assist. And your companions, should they choose to join at all. If they do not wish to, I'm sure I can find something for them to do here on the camp.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds to quickly write a thing.
All right. And I can repeat any of that unaccented if you need me to. And
Where was the location of the second one? That's hunting big. Like the first one was group heading towards the woods to check snares, and the second group was hunting big game. Where?
Yeah, the other option was to head out into the tundra to look for bigger game.
Okay.
Excuse me for a moment. Okay. I'm back now that the sun isn't ruining things so much.
Gremlin child has been dealt with.
Yeah, well, for now. The options were you can go towards the woods to check for snares. You can go into the tundra to hunt bigger game, or people could stay in the camp, in which case they would probably be assisting Vitatus in whatever it is that he does.
Tobias will consider a moment and say, unfortunately, I do not have as much experience handling snares. So I am more than willing to assist with hunting bigger game out in the tundra.
Very well. They will be leaving in an hour or two. The leader of your hunting party will be checking my notes. His name is Ed Wolf. He is a human man, older with gray hair. You will recognize him. He has a large scar going across his chin.
Wolf?
Ed Wolf.
How is that spelled?
EADWULF.
I'll get it close.
EADWULF.
Ah, I see. Excellent. Ed Wolf, older human man, leave in about an hour. Cool.
And he was described to you as having gray hair and having a big scar on his cheek. And it's at this point that Vitatus's goat you saw before kind of just waddles up to you and starts chewing on the hem of your cloak.
Tobias like looks down at the little goat and he's like, hello there, and kind of like brings his knuckles like close to it to gently kind of like brush against its head if it'll let him. Kind of just doesn't want to startle it and stuff, but he's also like, please don't fight that. I need it.
Roll an animal handling check.
Fuck.
It's not a high DC, but this is just to see if you fuck it up.
Nutted. Just head butted into the nuts.
We'll see.
Damn. One of those is a nat 20, but the smallest one was a 7. So
7.
the 7.
I mean,
Poor man.
she doesn't pull away, but she is irritated when you move slightly because you're pulling your cloak away, and that's her breakfast. Fucked up of you to take that away from her.
It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up of you. Goat just trying to live his best life.
At this point, Vitatus steps forward and kind of like grabs her and pulls her away. She's not a very big goat, but he says, "My apologies. She has a lot of personality."
Oh, it's quite all right. She's very cute. Does she have a name?
Her name is Amalija.
Malija.
Amalija.
Aww. Cute goat. I guess while Tobias waits for the hunting party and stuff, he will pet the goat as much as she will allow.
She allows. She's more interested once again in eating your clothes. She is a goat, and that's how they work. Hawk, you also said that you were up early.
That I did.
What are you doing?
He doesn't want to be rude. Sorry, I'm like chewing a carrot here. He doesn't want to be rude and just butt into the conversation between Toby and man.
Vitatus.
Vitatus, thank you. I thought it started with a V, but he doesn't want to butt into the conversation, so he's probably just going to go for a short walk around the inner perimeter of camp. So just like hands to his sides, maybe looking up at the sky.
All right. The sky is overcast, and as you walk around, you sort of take in the various symbols in that are painted on the leathers of the tents of the tribesmen.
What does the nearest one look like? I already grabbed each one.
Well, they vary from tent to tent, but roll a history check.
And I can't wait to fail at this. Never mind. That's a natural 20.
Natural 20.
Total of friggin' 22. There it is.
So you know that from your readings that the tribes of the north markings are very important to them. Thus, they have a whole part of their culture dedicated towards tattooing. And they will use various symbols to represent various things. For example, yesterday, when you're looking at Nethai, he had a tattoo on his forehead that represented like the flow of time and the importance of destiny. Not all of the tents have symbols on them with dramatic meanings, such as that. Some of them are you will look at the furs or the leathers that the specific symbol is painted on. You understand that whatever this beast was, it was felled in a great battle. And you look at another one, and you realize this one means that this pelt was from an animal that was killed by a father the day that a baby was born. Stuff like that. You're noticing as you walk around the encampment that a lot of these symbols have to do with memories or remembering something important.
All right. I think I'll just continue his walk for a bit. Maybe do, I don't know, 2 or 3 laps before heading in towards Nethai and asking about the same stuff.
Okay. So Nethai is in his tent. Right now, it's Vitatus and Tobias.
I meant Vitatus, not Nethai. Okay. My bad.
Vitatus gives you a small nod as greeting, while his goat is still trying to eat Tobias.
Hello. His eyes sort of just like wander towards Vitatus's prosthetic. What's it made out of?
It is a wooden prosthetic. It's his left arm, and it just seems like a simple prosthetic. You notice it's very stiff as he moves around.
All right. I was looking to join the hunt for this morning. Would you know how I would go about that?
I would be able to point you in the correct direction. You will have 2 options. You could either go into the tundra looking for larger game, or you can go closer towards the border of the woods in order to look to check snares. Your companion is going to be going into the tundra.
All right. I think I'll wait until more of our group is awake and has made a decision. I don't want to leave Tobias alone, but I would like to spread out our talents.
Very well. Another option is staying in the camp, and you could assist me. Do you have any healing capabilities?
Unfortunately, no. I have No, I can't heal myself.
Well, do you know anything about brewing potions?
Not the first thing, admittedly.
I think that you would probably be happier in that case, going with one of the hunting parties.
Hmm. I've got hunting experience of my own, though I'm not from these lands.
You will want to stay close to the rest of the group. It can be dangerous out there. And he kind of gestures jokingly at his own prosthetic.
Yes, we
You get the
found.
impression it happened a while ago, and he's to the point where you know how amputees are like hilarious, do great jokes. He's gotten to that point in his life.
What a bro. Um. Yes, we found that out the hard way already. I'll make sure to stick close.
Well,
Um.
the hunting parties, going to the tundra. The hunt master is Airwolf, and going towards the forest is Dimpna.
All right. I suppose I'll learn more about them once I decide where I'm going.
Of course.
I'm curious, by the way, if you don't mind my asking. I let go of spacebar. Hawk sort of just like gently gestures towards the wood prosthetic, not wanting to be rude, and says, how did you come by that? It's not often that I see things like that on, well, anyone.
A prosthetic?
Yes.
Actually, my mother helped to carve it for me. She was a talented woman, still is, I suppose. I haven't spoken to her recently. We haven't crossed paths, unfortunately.
I hope you do someday.
Hopefully, she is further north. You can roll a history check if you'd like. You too, Tobias, if you so choose.
Well, now that you've offered, Hey, Avery, did you rig these dice? I just got another 20.
Fucking wow, I rolled a 20 and then I rolled a 2, so that's gonna be a 4
This
for
poor
me.
man. I'm so sorry,
Tobias is focused on that fucking goat and making sure it doesn't eat his entire cape off his back.
She's working on it.
It's an uphill battle.
But Hawk, once again, in your readings about the unclaimed lands, you know that far to the north, like the fantasy equivalent of the Arctic Circle, there said to be a civilization of drow that live up there. I mean, scientifically, you figure it makes sense because there's not as much daylight up here, and so drow would be perfectly comfortable adapting to the cold up here if they had the resources. So you figure perhaps Vitatis's mother is one of these Arctic drow. And like, you don't, despite the 20, you don't know too much more about them beyond that, due to because they're rather isolated, being far to the north.
Yeah, he doesn't have first-hand
and-
experience, so there's no way he would really know. No.
Yeah, and people tend to be suspicious of drow due to the prevalence of Lolth cult worship. So you know of them, but you don't know too much beyond them. beyond that about them.
All right. I imagine life up there is harder than it is here, no?
Oh yes, that is why she sent me to live off the cave on us with my father.
Probably a smart move.
And what of you? Where are you from?
Oh, well, I grew up with a family with. I grew up with a family on the eastern edge of this continent. They, they're sort of a nation to themselves, as I understand. It's further south from here, much further south, um, sort of close to the ocean.
Oh, so you are from Island?
Yes, yes, that's what it was called, island.
Do you miss it there? I have never gone that far south.
Hmm. Well, there's some nice things about it. There's the cool breezes from the ocean. The trees there are different than they are here. It's a lot more the needly kind, the evergreens, pines, spruces, that sort of thing. Not too
There are
different
a
from the
few
trees
of
up here,
those
I would
around
imagine.
here if you know where to look, but do you get snow?
Not very often, no. We're much too close to the
That's
water for things to
that's
get.
unfortunate.
Yes, I haven't had much snow experience. Another reason, I suppose, I should stick close, yes?
Yes, that would be wise. There are things in the snow that can be quite dangerous for those who are unfamiliar with this.
We did step on a gigantic bug of some kind on the way here.
Yes, Nethai was mentioning as such. Sounded like you came across a remorse. You should be lucky it is not a mother remorse, as they are breeding this time of year.
That's a frightening concept. I'll be sure to pay attention and be careful.
Just stay close to the Huntmaster of whichever group you decide to go with.
Of course. There's much less dangerous creatures in the wild where I'm from, at least that I've run into.
Things out there can be dangerous things wherever you go. I'm sure that it varies from region to region.
Oh, of course, but I've never seen a bear that could, well, spit fire.
um, and with that, what are the rest of you guys doing?
Sleeping.
You don't sleep.
Sleeping.
We talked about
we-
this.
We were given, or we were told that we would be given winter clothes. Did that actually happen, or?
Yes, prior to resting last night, Vitatus had given, I believe, 3 sets of winter clothes.
Cool.
One for Toby, one for Levy, one for Demir.
Cool. I'm going to post my like little Arctic Demir then to the group, but
All right. So you get your cold weather clothes on. Tobias, do you have your cold weather clothes on? Never know.
I don't think Mackenzie
Tobias is
can hear us.
muted. That's okay. We'll check in a moment. What about you, Levy? Are you in your cold weather clothes? Cool. All right.
Everybody's all fluffed and warm.
Yeah, except for Erin, who
He wants to live in pain and cold.
I
It's what he.
guess he eventually
He only barely remembered to put a shirt back on, so
he slips out of the tent and goes towards the edge of the camp and paces for a while before going in front of where he was told his mother's tent was and just sits and waits.
Is Aaron pulling a Zuko on his mom? Like he's still just gonna sit out there?
Little do we know the scars weren't from the fire.
Look, I rolled an intelligence check for him.
He's trying.
Oh dear.
Hello, I am relatively here. Was anything asked of me? Just to make sure.
Well, I
thought
asked you if
someone
you had your cold weather clothes on.
if I put my weather clothes on.
Your cold weather clothes.
Yes, I put those on. We received those. Yeah. Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why
for
she
some
was
reason
asking.
audio.
It's cold.
No, we were all just quiet for some reason.
Okay. So, as eventually the rest of you, one by one, come out, you're all given the same choices that the others were given. You can either go to the tundra in the hopes of tracking down bigger game. You can go towards the edge of the forest to check out the snares that they set up for rabbits or whatever, or you can stay in the camp and help Vitatus in his daily duties.
If anyone wants to go check the snares, I would be happy to assist them if they aren't familiar with it.
I don't think Lish is gonna take that up.
I'm no hunter. I can stay here.
Lish is
I
sitting
can
there
cook.
braiding his hair.
Pixies are doing some nice stuff for your hair.
And I'm crashing from caffeine for work earlier. I'm assuming everybody's there, yeah?
God mood. Yeah,
Yes,
except for Aaron, who's house
I
sitting.
noticed it was 6:51 and started moving people along.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Levy's just gonna actually shrug and kind of shuffle her feet like she's not sure if she should be trying to do things that were not on the list of things that needed help with. And she's shuffling around and she's just like, I actually used to live on a farm and I was wondering if perhaps I could help with the goats at all.
That would be a great help.
She's gonna start that particular help by is there still a goat gnawing on Toby's cape?
That depends. Toby, if you pushed her off by now.
I imagine Tobias has once Vitalis had gotten the goat away from his cloak the first time, he kind of has his cloak bundled up and keeping it out of her reach, and it's just you'll see him almost kind of going in a circle, just petting her and stuff and being like, aha, this is great, while also avoiding the coat from grabbing his clothing. And it just looks like he's dancing with the goat almost, probably, because he's just moving backward. It's like, no, you don't get to eat this. Let me pet you instead. And the goat's like, I'm getting that fucking cloak.
Yeah, pretty much.
Levy's gonna try and ward the goat off of Toby and be more interesting than a cloak.
Okay, no.
Roll
no
an animal
hawk
handling
gags
check.
today.
Cool.
When Levy does approach, Tobias is like, "Well, good morning, Levy." It's like, look, she has a spicy personality.
You can see that. Or rather, maybe your cloak is spicy. She's still half asleep. That's fine.
Listen, it was an
Um,
A+ line delivery. She's fine.
I rolled a 15 for animal handling.
She is loving having you pet her. That's her jam. Like,
She knows the good
Uh,
spot underneath the chin.
yeah. Well, the goats that I worked with, when they really liked someone, they would take their head and just like on their leg. So she's doing that. for
She
you.
is digging her fingernails in on that spot on the head. Then she's just
Yeah.
going, yeah.
One of my goats at the zoo, Molly, she loved me and was just like, my head is attached to your leg. I'm sorry, I can't go anywhere else. I know I'm blocking the door.
As one does.
So she's doing that kind of vibe.
I love it. Levy has used the force on the goat, attracted it to her palm.
So far, Toby's going to the tundra. Levy and Erin are staying in the camp. Demir, what are you doing?
I am no hunter. I can cook.
Very well. Perhaps you can help me prepare something for the children. Is that something you're comfortable with?
Sure.
Lish, where are you going?
Lish for now is just kind of watching where everybody's going and choosing to do.
Hawk hasn't decided where he's going, but he's dead set on hunting because he's in the opposite case of Demir, where he isn't social.
Who
Lish
said
is-
Demir was social?
I mean, that's what do you say, Mrs. What, 18, 20 charisma?
20 charisma, but she don't use it.
Who needs it?
Meanwhile, Hawk's in camp 8 charisma once more.
So it is between Lish and Hawk now, where you guys are going.
Lish kind of looking between Demir and Levy going to do animal husbandry and the hunters, and he's kind of like just sitting and watching, like, I think he'll end up staying though at the camp.
Okay.
Right.
Unless it like looks like Toby or Hawk wants him to go with them.
So Hawk, it's
Tobias
between.
will mention Lish, like, "You're more than welcome to accompany me if you'd like."
Well, if you could use the help.
We may. And it would also be good having you there.
All right then. And he'll stand up and brush his hands off on his pants and
Okay.
get ready.
All right. So you're going to the tundra with Toby.
What do you
Okay.
two think? Would you want to stick together, or should I go help tend the snares?
I think the snares can get tended by somebody else.
That is a fair point. However, we also don't want to make the hunting party too big.
Well,
it all depends, I assume, on how many hunters they initially have to begin with.
Let me
If you
see
need,
if I have Pass Without a
my
Trace prepared for today.
opinion, there is safety in numbers up here. It is all too easy to lose others in the snow. So
I have a way of making it so that even large numbers can go unnoticed. I wouldn't worry too much about that.
that would be quite helpful.
Besides, I don't think that the three of us have really hunted together before. And won't that be fun?
It should be, yes. Very well then.
All right,
Hawk,
I
you're
guess
more
it's
than welcome
settled
to
then.
join us.
Of course.
Okay, so that's Toby, Lish, and Hawk going to the tundra. Levy, Erin, and Demi are going to camp. Last chance to correct me. Okay. So as you guys have been waking up and heading out and deciding who's going to go where, the campus has been slowly coming to life. There are still people who are trying to rest, but you see a couple of different groups of people gathering. And Toby, you recognize one of the people in one of the groups as Aedwulf, given the description you're given. He's sort of, for lack of a better descriptor, a wilder looking man with kind of grayish dreadlocks that have been kind of knotted together at the base of his skull. And he does have a big scar going across his cheek like that. He looks tough and he looks like he's been at this for a while. And his skin is kind of weathered to show a life outside. And with him, there is a woman with long black straight hair and brown skin and kind of muscular arms. And the third is a another half drow who has more clearly drowish features, and his hair is kind of pulled back into a ponytail. And it's light, and his skin is more grayish, and he has a couple of spears at his back.
Okay. Tobias will approach Aldwolf and give a short half bow, essentially, in greeting as he approached and goes, "Good morning. Vitatus informed me that I believe your hunting party is heading towards the tundra, correct? We are willing to assist with that endeavor."
We would be glad for any help you could lend. My name's Aedwulf. What are you called?
My name is Tobias, and these are my two companions, Lish and Hawk.
Pleasure. I saw you folks coming in yesterday. I'm glad that you're able to help around.
We're happy to help.
I have a route planned to head north in the to the east around in a circle looking for larger game. Usually around here, around this time of year, We have a couple of options. There's a buffalo or there's caribou. For either one, we'd have to be careful that they don't belong to any hermits.
Is there any means of identifying which ones do and do not? Like, is there a tag on the ear? Perhaps dye in the fur?
Usually, they shave a symbol into the sides of the animals without harming it in order to clearly show that it is not wild.
Understood. We will definitely keep an eye out for those symbols.
About one or two, in addition to whatever the snares catch, should be enough to feed us all if we are careful. And he says that very pointedly, and you get the impression he seems to think that Southerners are very frugal and aren't very careful with their food, and up here everything's rationed very carefully.
If it's any consolation, sir, I grew up on a ranger homestead out in the wilderness where we were essentially isolated. The ways of hunting both respectfully and in a balanced manner was very much ingrained in my upbringing.
Roll
I
a
understand the
persuasion
importance
check.
of not being, oh, fuck.
Hey, DM, is it possible for Hawk to help Toby somehow with this?
What are you saying?
Hawk giving thumbs up in the background.
To try to convince
It literally
Anwolf that
won't
Tobias
hurt.
is
It will.
careful
Okay.
hunter.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking here, Mackenzie. You've got disadvantage from exhaustion, yeah, but help if this works would negate that disadvantage because it provides advantage. So you'd go back to a normal roll. That's better than
know
being
that.
forced with the. Okay.
But I rolled twice for the thing, and even if it negated the disadvantage, first roll was a fucking 3. The second roll was a fucking 2.
Oh no.
No matter what, Tobias is failing this persuasion check, and he's looking like a fucking idiot and a jackass.
Oh no.
Good
So-
going, Tobias, you fucking failure.
Never mind.
So Anwolf still looks very skeptical of you. And as such, he says, if anything from the woods has gone this far north, don't hunt that either. It's lost and confused, and we want to help rebuild the forest after the fire. We're only looking for caribou or bison.
Tobias just kind of looks a little confused. He's like, yes, I understand. I know what a caribou and bison are.
And with that, Anwolf starts to lead you guys in the circular motion he had indicated, heading north and then heading clockwise to the east and then rounding back to the camp in your search. While you guys are out, I would like one of you between Tobias, Lish, and Hawk to roll a d20 for a random tundra encounter.
If we're heading out from Camp 2 to go on this, I'm casting Pass Without a Trace on us.
Okay.
Just so that's out there. All right, who's rolling? Not it.
I'll do it. I don't think Mackenzie's got a lot of confidence in her rolls right now, and I can't blame her.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, though, please do speak up. I don't want to be just.
Our
Yeah.
boy Toby's a good egg.
Just fucking go for it.
He's a good egg, really. Dice
All
are
of
just
my
being
rolls
shitheads.
tonight so far have either been natural 20s or really fucking low. Like,
That's just a typical
even
mood for
above a
me. I
7.
understand.
Balance in the scales.
Released my son from his banishment in my room.
The 4. At least it's an encounter table and not a check. 4.
4. Okay, let's see. Okay.
Man going wild in the background.
Let's so you guys, as you're walking, it seems that the man with the spears is in charge of navigation. And for those of you that are paying attention, he seems to be getting a little off course. This is not, you eventually find yourself in an area that it's something like a small basin, which seems to be filled with snow, and you can see the man with the spears, whose name you have not asked for, kind of.
Hey, I fucking introduced our party. They didn't introduce their fucking party.
He's kind of frowning and thinking, and approaches Aedwulf and says, we're off course. And Aedwulf kind of frowns and looks around and looks. You guys are like about part way into this basin, and sort of looking around, you can see like what seems like might be a small frozen pond there, and with little bits of dead grass sticking out from it and some jagged stones near the edge of the pond.
Tobias won't walk any further to the pond, and if Hawk or Lish walk a little closer, he'll stop them and say, hold a moment. I don't know how far the water goes, especially under the snow. Also, give me a moment to close my door.
Roll a nature check.
Can any of us?
Any of you.
Let's see what my nature is. Who has the highest nature? I always assume that people have higher nature than me, but who has a higher nature than 1 + 1?
Tobias technically has a +2 nature, but
You have disadvantage right now. Hey, what's Hawks?
Has it not been unmuting me? Zoom, you nerd. Okay, it's 5.
A +5?
A +5.
Oh Jesus, yeah, you roll.
Listen,
that
I made Hawk to be Mr. friggin' oxymoronic nature man. So
So you can roll nature with advantage if Lish is helping you. And if Lish is not helping you,
Then we've
the,
got bigger problems on our hands.
the woman will help you out.
Sure, I mean, Lish is looking around. She's
All right.
not, like,
I'm gonna roll both of these d20s then. That is a 16 total.
It looks like this isn't like a proper lake or anything. It looks like it's more this basin was here and water gathered at the bottom of it at one point and then just froze. So it doesn't seem like it'd be too deep or under the snow or anything.
Well, that's good to know at least.
I'm not convinced that this is quite that natural, though. The stones seem a little jagged for something that could have been here for a while.
there's no
Uh,
footprints or anything around.
Not that you can see, no. Any footprints that would have been there would have been covered by snow, probably.
Tobias will turn to Adwolf and ask him, perhaps we should attempt to make our way back to the path that we were on.
I was about to suggest the same thing. Would you rather go through or backtrack?
Do you know the way forward? Or would we continue to get lost?
He kind of pauses and looks up towards the sun and looks at your guys' shadows and says, I would know the way forward.
Question then is if we would run into other wildlife if we made our own new path back to the course. If we can do so safely, then perhaps that would be our best bet to save time.
True, but we don't want to potentially risk wandering too close to any hermit huts and spotting their animals.
Mhm.
Watch out for huts with chicken feet.
You've seen many of those.
Once in the distance. Long time ago.
Really? Here?
Not in this area, but my people travel all around what you Southerners call the unclaimed lands.
Why chickens?
Why anything?
I guess that's as fair a point as any.
It's what they had at the time.
Man, I don't know. I can't tell you about ancient Russian stories and lore.
Chicken lore, chicken lore.
Chicken law. Sure, if you will.
Well, we've already come this far. Could just keep going.
Through them. All right.
Here it is.
It's just like, I don't know. I don't care. Let's just keep going.
You think I ever had to use a compass in the Feywild?
Knew where everything fucking was then.
This isn't my house, this is my neighbor's house.
So, you guys start to head through the basin. I'm going to make the wild guess and go and assume that you're going to go around the water. You're planning on going around the water?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
I'd love a marching order.
I'll be by Tobias.
Okay.
Hawk's gonna stick with the other two, of course, but he'll probably. I'm gonna say he's gonna be closer to the center of the hunting group, wherever that is.
Okay.
Okay, then Tobias and Lish will be bringing up the rear.
And you're having the folk from Erin's tribe go first ahead of you guys.
I mean, unless they
Yes,
insist
because
otherwise.
they're leading the way.
Yeah.
Supposedly they know where they're going, though dubious as that is now.
Okay. So as you're walking, you're noticing something sort of odd about the snow in the way it sounds when you step on it. There's something that's much too crunchy about it. Not in the way
Tobias is gonna
that
stop
ice
walking.
is. Not in the way that ice is. But it's
Tobias is gonna stop walking and call up to Ed Wolf and ask, "Hold a moment. Do you hear that?"
they pause. The group pauses. And at this point, Tobias, as you're looking down, you realize that whatever it is you had just stepped on, it's protruding from the snow a bit. And you realize that it's a bone. And it's at this point that something climbs out of the snow from in front of you. And I would like you guys to roll for initiative while I move the map over.
Ghost dragon?
Tobias getting
Not
hurt
yet.
by bones, fucking cringe.
Don't touch that. Got my roll ready. Oh, it's a man.
Is it?
Big man.
So as you, this creature emerges from the snow, you suddenly feel numb and cold, and it's wearing sort of like piecemeal armor and has a huge axe at its hand, and kind of bluish skin. However, looking at it, half of its face seems to have been rotted away, and you realize this isn't just a frost giant, it's a zombie frost giant.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So many DM things to do, so little time. Because I had the map ready just in case you rolled this one, but I didn't expect you to actually roll it, so I was stalling while I was adding tokens. But I have to make sure that you guys are actually able to move your tokens.
So the frost giant, when it showed up, it's in front of Edwolf, or was it in front of Tobias?
Judging from the map, I
It's in
think it's in
front of
front of the
Aidwolf.
group. Yeah.
Okay, for a second there, I thought it was like Tobias sits on a bone and he's like, "What the shit?" And then it just fucking comes out of the snow in front of Tobias, and Tobias is staring up at this thing like,
You
"Oh, mistakes have been
kind of
made."
realize, looking around, and while your DM is getting the initiative all set up, that you may have stumbled into a some sort of frost giant graveyard.
Oh. I guess that explains why it's a zombie, huh?
Just to double check, exhaustion. Does that affect initiative?
Yes.
Okay.
So Hawk, what did you get?
I got a 15 total.
Let me roll for our giant friend here. Um, 14 for Toby. It's moving very slow, luckily for you guys.
Imagine it just woke up after Tobias just snapped its big toe or something.
Sure, maybe. Fuck, I gotta get stats for these people. Why did you roll this one? Okay. So. Ooh, he's not doing well. Got 4. And Ed Wolf. Not bad. And then Ragna, thank you so much for your patience with this. I don't know why I added this to the thing I made.
No worries.
I knew it was just going to be extra work.
But you did it anyway, and here we are.
Yeah. Okay. So lucky you guys. Ed Wolf is going to go first. And he is going to take right here. He's going to take his long sword attack. It hits. That also hits. Okay, cool. So rolling damage. Okay. So he's able to take a chunk out of this frost giant zombie. Hawk, it is your turn.
All right, time to do what I do best as Mr. Fighter Man. Use weapon. First, let's back up just a bit. Just over there. All right, let's test the water real quick. Normal arrow, attack 1. Oh, okay. That's a nat 20.
All right.
And then the second attack. This one's also normal. That is a 13.
13 misses.
Okay.
Oddly.
All right. Well, that's one hit, and it's a crit too, so that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 2d8. Um, 7. 12 damage, piercing.
12 damage.
Yep, just 12.
Okay.
I can't really do anything else with my turn unless I want to just burn action surge now, but I don't. So next up, I guess.
Okay. So next is Toby.
Okay. Can he? All of the tribe's members are facing away from him, right?
All the tribe members are facing the frost giant.
Okay, all of their attention is on that thing, so they won't notice him nicking his thumb on his bow.
Not necessarily, no.
Cool. Now the question is, do I want to risk it? Fuck it. He will do his Crimson Right. He'll do it subtly, so
Okay.
it's not gonna be. Try not to make it noticeable.
Just for flavor, roll sleight of hand.
Okay. How
Uh-oh.
deep? How deep? $13.
Okay.
D6, that's 4 damage. 4. Okay. And now for him to do his longbow. I should actually make sure he's in a good enough spot. Let's see. I'll move him to there. Okay, that's a clear enough spot that it's not gonna accidentally hit someone else. First arrow. 14 to hit.
14 misses.
Okay. Second arrow. 27.
That definitely hits. Roll damage.
Sick. So it's a 12. Yeah, I'm just like checking one thing real quick.
Mm-hmm.
First range attack and meets range of strength and stresses normal range on a hit attack heals. Okay, yeah. This is the second attack, so it doesn't count. Cool. Because I forgot about the connect bowstring stuff. That'll be a 12 damage total.
Okay. Mark that. Okay. Next, it is Frosty's turn. I'm gonna go after. Let's see. So Hawk, as this creature turns towards you, there's a kind of a ghostly bluish glow coming in from its one glazed over eye and from within the eye socket on the empty part of its face. And I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Here. Oh, that's an 8.
Okay. So
Fear.
you take 30 cold damage and are paralyzed until the end of its next turn.
Ow. Okay, I'm gonna put that on, and that's 30 cold damage. Ouch.
30 cold damage and you are paralyzed.
All right. Paralyzed just means I can't move or take actions. Yeah.
Means you're stuck in place. I'm going to flavor this as in the icy coldness of its gaze means the moisture in the air kind of clings to you and you find that you're frozen in place. You can't move right now.
Okay.
Lish.
Yes. So I would like you to please make me a wisdom 15 saving throw against polymorph.
Natural 19.
Damn it. Well, it's okay. So I can't turn him into a frog, but that's okay.
Someday it'll work and it'll be really good.
That's fine. I use it on my friends more than on my enemies.
Fair.
And then I'm going to bonus action cast Healing Spirit.
Okay. I assume on Hawk or
On
just
Hawk.
in general. Okay.
Since he's froze. Let me see if I can heal the same turn I summon it. When it moves into the space for the first time. Yes, so I can heal Hawk for a little bit. Let's see here.
All right.
Do I get? I get 7 of these. I get 8 of them. Yeah, I'm gonna put 2 of them into Hawk.
Okay.
So I'll roll for that, and then that'll be the end of my turn.
All right. It is now Ragna's turn. And she is going to make an attack. Axe. Ooh, that's a natural 1. So she misses, but she gave it the old college try. It is now Wilhelm's turn.
Hawk heals for 5.
All right. Wait. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that in a second. And Wilhelm gets a natural 20 against this guy with his spear, and does a whopping 13 damage to him. All right, and Toby, Lish, and Hawk, you guys notice that our friends here, the 3 of them, since they're so close to this frost giant zombie, the ice is gathering more on their skin than you would expect it to. As if being in proximity to this creature is hurting them.
Ouch.
With that, it's Aedwulf's turn. He's going to make his 2 attacks. That's cocked. Both hit. And he does... All right, he does a fair amount of damage to it. It is now in double digits, guys. All right. That means it is Hawk's turn.
Okay,
You are paralyzed.
I am. I don't know if that means I can't attack.
It does for now.
All right, so I'm
You're
just standing
cold.
there.
You are
Very
cold,
cold.
and your
Is
feet
there
are
a-
practically rooted to the ground, and you fucking hate it here.
Yeah, he's like struggling to break out of this thin layer of ice that's formed over his body.
Mhm.
That's gonna take a bit.
Toby. Woogie.
Here we
What
go.
you gonna do?
Attack number 1. That's a 24.
That hits.
Yay! And then there's the kinetic post. First range attack me. Turns using a weapon strength that is twice its normal range, and on hit, the attack deals 1 extra die of its damage. Cool. So I basically do 1d8 plus 4. No, 2d8. Yeah, 2d8 plus the 3. Okay, cool. I got this. Got this. Okay, so 1d8 plus 3, and then roll that one. I'm gonna roll one of these ones. Okay.
So
14.
14 damage. Okay. All right.
And then the second one.
Okay.
19. 19 to hit, sorry.
Yes, the 19 hits.
Cool. I will roll damage to that one. That one does not get the extra that, so it'll be faster. That one's going to be a 6. That's going to be 8 total.
8 damage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, Toby. Good job.
It's the one thing he's good at. Pumping out damage numbers.
Okay.
Same.
So does indeed. Toby, I'd like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yes. Is this also affected by exhaustion?
It's no, because it's a
Okay.
saving throw.
Cool. I thought that was the case, but I just wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a 12, my guy.
So you take 42 cold damage and are paralyzed. Just as Hawk, you come back to yourself and you are no longer paralyzed.
Oh.
Lost. Freedom. Also, ow.
So that's 42 cold damage?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, you're paralyzed. Don't let me forget that. Lish, it's your turn.
Lish, you're a nice man. Tell him to stop.
Let me see this really quick. Doing some calculations.
Go for it.
All right, so I'm moving the healing spirit from Hawk over to Tobias.
Okay.
I'm giving him some healing. So let me roll for that.
Wait. I did get up when it was Lish's turn because we've got guests over right now. I just wanted to say hi. Not right now, though. How much did Hawk get healed, if any?
Hawk got healed 6.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm moving him over to real quick. Do some heals for you. Not rolling well on this healing. Oh, that's better. Okay. Oh, nice. 13 heals for Tobias. And Lish is gonna go over to Tobias and is going to cast Lesser Restoration on him to remove the paralysis.
Excellent.
And
I see Hawk has been turned.
The first rule of hunting is to point your arrows toward the enemy.
think that's gonna be my turn.
Okay. It is now Ragna's turn. And against him, there's like bits of chunks of frozen flesh like falling off of his body. It's pretty fucking gross. And now it is Wilhelm's turn. That's fine. This doesn't affect him much anyway. Also just barely hits. Does 3 damage to him. Frosty here is looking kind of rough. Now it is its turn. And 1 misses, 1 hits. Does 10 damage. All right. Hawk, it's your turn.
I can move again.
You can.
He's going to wish that I can't again. Let's see. Let's do an arcane shot here. Normal. Oh, good. I could have gone for a sharpshooter probably. Jeez. That's a 27.
That definitely hits. Roll damage.
All right. I'm gonna roll the second attack too, though, before I do this, because I am gonna make a second one. That one's also
Sorry,
gonna be
this
normal.
is boring. Group who stayed in the camp.
It's okay. You can ogle at us whenever we fail a roll. That's a 19, by the way.
19 damage.
No, 19 to hit with the second
Yes,
shot.
that hits.
Okay, cool. So that's full arrow damage. I'm gonna roll the arrow damage first. That. Don't mind me. I just dropped my dice. There we go.
You can go sit through the animal husbandry simulator later.
Take a nice break from cleaving giants in half. That's 14 damage from the arrows. And now I'm gonna roll for shadow arrow. Just through roll 20, why not?
Okay.
12 psychic damage, and I need it to make a DC 13 wisdom save.
Not very wise. So let's see. But he's not looking great at this point, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the DC again?
13.
He got a 14.
Oh,
He rolled a natural
one of these
16, but he's not
one
wise.
of these days, Shadow Arrow is actually going to proc the secondary effect. I swear.
Someday.
Oh well, I did the damage. It's fine.
Okay.
So that's 14 piercing and 12 psychic.
All right. And then Toby, you're paralyzed. It is now the giant's turn, and Giant is going to take 2 attacks at Aedwolf with his axe. In fact, D20. I just grabbed the wrong one. Yeah, that was definitely fucking hit. Okay. So, he does a whopping 14 damage to Aedwolf. And Aedwolf takes it like a pro. He's a one tough motherfucker. And Lish, it is now your turn. Frosty is not looking too great.
How unfortunate for him. It's really just
He wasn't looking great before anyway, because he's dead, but
it's a real big bummer, dude. Can I help you out with that whole undeath thing? Let me make it a full-on fucking dead.
What you thinking?
I'm thinking conjure animals. But I have to decide which animals that I want. I'm gonna summon 2 dire wolves.
Okay.
I'm gonna summon them right next to Frost Giant.
I will just make them the same one that I use for you.
That's what they look like. 2 of them, and they're both gonna bite him.
Okay. So as part of as part of his numbing aura, any creature that starts its turn within 10 feet must make a Constitution saving.
It's fine. Let's see here.
The puppy one will be the one on top of him, and then puppy 2 is the one down below, just for the sake of rolls.
I don't know. I don't think either of them passed it. No, neither of them rolled very high. So.
Okay. So that just means that they can't make more than 1 attack or take a bonus action.
That's fine. They only have 1 attack anyways.
Honestly, same thing for Wilhelm over here, but it's fine.
But they get advantage because of pack tactics. So fun times. I'm going to bite the shit out of him. And God, I hope it hits. Let's see here. Plus 5. Roll high. One of them is a natural 20. Yes, great.
Okay, so before you
21,
roll for
I gotta roll advantage. Hold on.
Are you gonna get higher than a natural 20?
On one of them, but I could roll double 20s.
Here's the thing. Might not be necessary.
That's fine. Okay, so that was a 19 for one and a natural 20 for the other. So,
I mean, yeah, those hit.
Cool. 2d6 plus 3, so 4d6 plus 6. That is going to be a 22.
Please describe how your puppies murder this frost giant.
Wonderful. One of them is gonna go for one of the legs and kind of keep it in place and pull it out from under it, as the other one goes for the top of its shoulder where that armor plating is and drag him down to the ground. And then once they got him prone, they're gonna just rip him to pieces.
Okay. So You have killed the frost giant zombie, and as you rip him to pieces, you do notice that there was some sort of belt pouch that he had that got torn open.
Lish is gonna go.
That got torn open, kind of scattering its contents across the snow.
Lish is gonna go investigate.
Okay. When you investigate, you are able to gather up 270 silver pieces and 60 gold pieces.
Let's write that down in loot. Can you put that in loot for us?
$260 silver, you said?
270 silver pieces and then 60 gold pieces. And Aedwulf, meanwhile, is looking at you guys now with more of like more respect than he had been before. It's like, these people don't fucking know what they're doing in the snow before, but now he's like, okay, I can see how they made it this far up north. That's okay. They're not gonna keel over as soon as I look away. That's
Hawk approaches a bit and then... Oh, go ahead.
Lish is scritching the wolves. Good job. Very good job.
Hawk comes a little closer and he's like, is that money?
Toss him a piece of silver or whatever.
Hawk like catches it,
Bounces
like
off the mat.
looks at it in disbelief, like, what is this doing all the way out here?
It was in his pocket.
Question is how it came by it. Maybe it ambushed some travelers on the way, or...
Do giants have money?
That's a good question. I'm not familiar with them.
No, they have their own societies, do they not? I'm gonna look over the giant some more for anything else.
okay.
Hawk dusts off like the upper layer of snow and I assume sees the bones beneath.
Yeah. Now that you're able to take a moment and look around properly, this basin seems to be some sort of frost giant body dumping grounds. Like, you don't really know the rituals or religious ceremonies or whatever that frost giants get involved in, but you do know that they apparently, once one of their kind dies, leave them in this basin.
Oh,
We
looks
take
like we
the
stumbled
body
upon
and we put it in the basin.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we don't want it to stink up our cave. God.
Just fridge them. Well, I guess that explains a few things. Looks like you stumbled upon an open burial of some kind. I doubt we can get anything that we'd want out here from this corpse. Perhaps we should keep moving, lest we incur more gigantic wrath.
No, I'd
Lish
rather.
looks at the person who is guiding us and is just like, you really took us here out to the elephant graveyard, huh? Good guiding, my dude, good guiding.
The half drow for his part does look kind of embarrassed. And frankly, it's not my fault you guys rolled a 4.
It is not, no.
Nor is it Willihan's, but again,
if anything, it's my fault. But that's not here. That's near. Yes, we should keep moving. I don't think the caribou and bison would want to tread near here.
so it's at this point I would like either the 3 of you to roll or one of you to roll with advantage survival to see if you can track down a thing to eat.
I've got a 3 in survival, but now I'm wondering something. Hang on.
Can we
Where's
have
the
like
thing?
triple
Where's the thing? Where's
advantage
the
because
thing?
we've got the doggos now helping us?
I'm afraid it doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
I'm curious about
I see you
trait.
booing me.
I'm
You take
curious
another
about
46 cold damage.
I'm actually curious about a trait that Hawk has from the Outlander background. It says you have an excellent memory for maps and geography, and you can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around you. In addition, you can find food and fresh water for yourself and up to 5 other people each day, provided that the land offers berries, small game, water, and so forth. So I'm wondering if that would help us out any way. We're
Yep.
obviously looking for more food than just 5 people, but
You already have the advantage.
fair.
And stuff is a lot harder to find up here.
All right. I just thought I'd ask. All right. He's got a 3 in survival. Does anyone have a better score than that? No?
Tobias has a 4 in survival, but he also has the disadvantages.
I have
Right.
a 4 to survival.
Lish, would you like to roll?
With
That's higher than
advantage?
Hawk's survival. He'll help you out.
Okay. Uh, 22.
22.
Nice.
So you actually are so good at this, you're able to find a couple of options. You find some tracks that do look more like bison tracks, and you find some tracks that do look more like caribou tracks. So it's up to you which one you'd like to pursue.
We could have both. Send the wolves after one.
Both.
I don't know if we want to risk doing
like,
both unless the wolves are able to avoid hunting stuff that has symbols shaved into the sides.
they're smart fey creatures. So if I gave them an order to look for something, I mean, it's up to Avery, but that seems like something I could order them to do.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that with summoned creatures, they follow your orders. So if you describe to them, like, look for weird fur patterns, they'd probably understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Lish questions whether or not that would go against their like rationing of animals, or is it too many animals to hunt at one time, or
From what I remember, what Ed Wolf said, only about.
I believe he said 1 or 2.
Yeah.
If we wanted to get both, if there were potentially any extra meat, there would be little enough that we would be able to dry it for later.
thankfully this isn't like Oregon Trail. We can actually get 1,000 pounds of meat back to camp.
You have died of dysentery.
Damn it, I can't even contract that. Yeah, here we are.
We could go hunt the bison, and I can send the wolves to take a look at the caribou, run them towards us perhaps, or kill them themselves.
Yeah, we could have the wolves gang up and take down one caribou, and then we can take down one bison ourselves. So that way it's a good enough amount of meat that it will feed the tribe, but it's also not too much.
All right. I will gather the direwolves to me and give them their mission and send them after the caribou trail.
Okay. They go off. And how long does conjure animals last?
An hour.
An hour. Okay. So you guys start following the bison tracks, which, lucky you guys, is more or less in the direction you guys were hoping to go. And you end up finding what seems to be a small herd of bison, none of which have symbols shaved into the sides.
Tobias will speak quietly to Ed Wolf, not to alert the or basically say, as this is your territory, I suggest you pick the one that you find most suitable, and we will target that one.
Gets an arrow ready.
He kind of scans the area and manages to locate one towards the edge of the herd that looks it looks suitable for hunting. It isn't it is not a mother. It seems a little older but not injured. Like it's nearing the end of its life anyway, but from natural causes, not because it's sick or anything. And so for the sake of brevity, I will say that you guys are able to take this bison down. And when you do you butcher it out here in the fjord and the tundra, or do you try to find some way to take it back to camp?
We don't have to butcher it here.
I was going to advise against that because we don't know. I don't think it's a great idea to cut meat out in the field. Liz, you can transform, can't you? Would you mind sharing the load a little?
That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Okay, and eventually, the wolves make their way back to you shortly before the spell would have worn off, and they come back bearing a dead caribou. They're kind of dragging it by the neck, and they're clearly very proud of themselves, and their tails are wagging, and they had a good time, not only hunting but also romping around in the snow as doggies.
Yeah, that's good. And just double checking that the caribou is not the wrong caribou.
No, it's clearly a wild one.
Hooray. All right.
Since you've got the bison, I don't mind taking this one.
I could probably stack them up. And Alicia's gonna say goodbye to the wolves before they go.
All right.
I was going to say Tobias gives some grateful little scritches on their heads behind the ears and stuff. He goes, "Thank you for your help."
Hawk, seeing this, mimics the gesture. But he doesn't say thank you because he's scared.
Playing with fire there, Tobias. Once
Listen, we already fucking know Tobias's heart belongs to Lish already, okay? So he's one of the people that his heart belongs to, so.
Aww.
Right.
Okay, I'm checking different strength scores here. Let's see, which is the biggest? I'm going to turn into a giant thing.
Big.
It's so fucking fast. Everything is so much faster than me. I don't know. What do you think? Rhinoceros or polar bear? I think polar bear is probably a rhinoceros.
Polar bear is fitting. I was expecting like I don't know.
You'll get more traction with polar bear.
True.
Yeah. It's
Might as well
only
go. Might as well go winter instead of savannah.
Yeah. So polar bear.
All right.
Be polar bear.
So, with the help of Polar Lish carrying the game back to the camp, we will now switch to the other group.
Story time.
So,
I am excited.
hold on. So Levy, you said you were going to hang out with the goats.
Hi, sorry. Fuck off, God. My roommate's home. I'm so sorry.
Do you want me to come back to you?
No, it's cool. She I think she was helping with the goats, right?
Yes, that's what I was saying. What do you do with the goats?
I mean, don't they need to be like fed in the morning and everything? Can she like take them on a little goat walkies?
You can actually. You are joined by Vitatus, who does seem to be he seems to be enjoying helping the goats. And of course he has his own goat, Amalija, trotting at his heels. As he kind of shows you a safe route to take the goats on near the camp while making sure that they get their exercise.
Levy's gonna take the goats on a little stroll. She is talking to them raptly in varying languages. Just having a good old time with these goats.
Roll an animal handling check.
Fuck yes. I don't even get a bonus for animal handling, but for some reason the dice know that this girl is a pumpkin. That's a 14.
Yeah, I mean you're vibing. You're in your element.
Goats.
There are goats here, and it's awesome. And you're getting to pet them, and they kind of smell bad, but that's how farm animals are, and it's great.
Farm girl, she don't give a shit about the smell.
Yeah, you're having a jolly good time with them.
Oh yes.
Do you do anything else?
I guess if she needs the goats need anything, like I guess she'd like there is somebody who's just in charge of the goats. I'm so sorry. My attention is torn between like
It's cool.
different places. There are dogs running amok and everything. So there's somebody in charge of the goats. I guess she'd just kind of ask what she should be doing with these animals because they're not hers, so she doesn't know what these specific animals need and what she's allowed to do with them.
So you get the impression, I'm having to reach into deep knowledge here.
Goat knowledge.
There are a few things that you can do with the goats now that you're done taking them on a walk. You could clean up any of the goat poop that might have been in the camp that's not covered by snow already. You can help measure out some of the hay that each individual goat needs. And you can brush some of the woolier ones to make sure that they aren't getting like dreads or anything, because that's uncomfortable for them. And then you can help milk the lady goats for the snow spears to keep the milk for either drinking or for turning into cheese.
I think I'll just roll a d4 to see what Levy does, because that all sounds like something she'd be fine doing, so. That's gonna be the last one. We milking goats tonight,
All right.
boys!
You are sent to help this human woman who looks like she's in her late 50s. She introduces herself as Agnes, and you help her milk the goats. And what the fuck kind of role am I gonna make you do for this? No, animal handling again, I guess.
Alright, yeet. By the way, these dice that you got me are really liking me. So
Bad.
love that. Yeah, that's a 13.
13.
I
You
keep
do
rolling
a pretty good
decent.
job. And Agnes is so glad for your help that she gives you a little bit of goat cheese she already had made. So you can add hunk of goat cheese to your.
Oh fuck yes, we're rolling in it now, boys. Levy will thank her actually fairly profusely because she's Mr. Goat Cheese.
Goat cheese is good, man.
Goat cheese good.
Okay. So,
Actually, she might bring it to Demir to like cook with.
okay. Demir, you were cooking.
Yay!
Vitatis had also mentioned the possibility of you hanging out with some of the kids, if that was something you were interested in.
Yeah, possibly. I think probably like Demir is going to focus on doing the cooking, but that's not like an all-day endeavor. That's like when there are meals. So she probably I'm sorry if you can hear my cat, he is purring loudly. I think probably like Demir helps out with the meals, and then like in between the meals ends up like watching the kids.
Okay. So the man that's in charge of cooking, he seems to be a quarter elf. And his name is Edgar.
Edgar. Oh,
Uh,
Edgar.
And Edgar is known around the tribe clearly, at least among the children, for maybe sneaking them a little bit of some extra bread if they hang around. So you do end up actually hanging out with some of the kids, and you end up meeting little human girl around age 8 named Ebba, and a little boy named Hildraith.
Okay.
Who's about 9.
Okay. Okay. Demir is actually like, when she like kind of gets over to the cooking station, and like sees that there is bread there, kind of like immediately goes over to it and starts working on the bread.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually like, she's really like, she kind of like picks up a finished loaf and like sniffs it, kind of sees what the ingredients are. Like it's like what kind of crust it is, that kind of stuff. And then she's going to like ask where do they make their bread, and like she's like actually like really interested in it.
And Edgar is happy to answer, and he's like, well, sometimes we do trading with the folks that live up here, sometimes even the ones that live down to the south. There are a few places around where there's the materials needed to craft bread. It's a rare treat, though. You can see why the children are happy to hang around.
I see. Do you need someone to make them?
You were a little quiet there. Could you speak up?
I can do some bread. Do you need?
I'm interested to see what you can do. Your accent's unusual, so I suppose you even bring a unusual kind of bread.
Yes. Yes. I here. And Tamir is going to pull the ingredients together, and as best as she can, she's going to try and make some marhabi style bread.
And the 6-year-old Ebba, she is like hovering around you while you're doing this, and she is like, "Can I help?
Sure.
What do I do? What do I do? I want to help." That's my dad.
Okay.
He says I can help sometimes, and she points at Edgar.
What is your name, little one?
Oh, my name's Ebba.
It's nice to meet you. You can call me Demir. Here, sit here. And Demir will kind of like clear off the space, and she's going to show her like, okay, so you take the flour and you mix it with water until it has this consistency. And just kind of
Should I be taking notes?
no.
Dad, do I have paper? And Edgar, from where he's like trying to prepare some vegetables, also likely traded, he's like, not on me. She's like, okay, I'll just remember. I'll remember.
Here, Demir is going to take her hand and like put it in the dough that she has got prepared, and it's just like, now feel what it feels like. It's a little sticky, still kind of wet, but it's got a little bit of pull to it. And kind of like teaching her what it should feel like, and
Okay.
then handing her own bowl and being like, now you do that.
Roll an intelligence check just to see how well Ebba's able to pick this up.
Okay, just a regular intelligence check.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a dirty 20.
Ebba's got this down like that. She is a born bread maker, which is wild considering that she's a nomad.
You are a natural. You got this.
She's like really excited at the praise, and she's kind of wiggling a bit in her seat.
Okay, now we let it sit, and we cover it, and we're going to let it sit and rise. And like basically like Demir is going to go through the whole like bread making process. And when it gets to the part where you roll out the bread, she is she's going to show Ebba the way you roll out bread and start kind of braiding along the edges and just teaching her like little designs. And where I come from, we use stamps to decorate our bread. I don't have any, but we will make do with our fingers.
Do you come from far away?
Very far away.
Is there lots of snow there too?
No snow. It is a desert.
Why do you live there?
Because it is my home, or it was my home.
Okay, but like why do people live where there's not snow? How do you make snowmen?
We have other ways of keeping ourselves entertained.
Like bread?
Like bread. Exactly.
She's like genuinely interested in the way that 6-year-olds are interested in other places. Like she's not quite grasping like, oh, this is actually like a real faraway place. It's more abstract for her. She's very skeptical that people would live somewhere without snow. That doesn't make any sense.
We do not have snow, but we have a lot of sand. And when I was a child, every so often, we would go down and draw designs in the sand. There would be a festival day out in the desert, and we could go out and decorate with different color sand and make a tapestry in the ground.
I've heard some of the adults talk about sand once, but I've never seen it. Hold on, I have to
That's
banish
fair.
myself.
Oh, it's okay.
All right, he's been locked in my room again. But anyway, Ebba's like interested to hear about your home. This is the only place she's ever really known. She hasn't traveled anywhere else, and she's too young to leave the tribe on her own to do so. So
yeah, Demir is just going to kind of teach her a couple different like bread designs and just kind of like this is a tied knot. It represents the bonds between people, and you add different knots for as many bands as you want. Sometimes 2, usually more for family,
but she makes a very simple just 3-strand braid out of it. And when the time comes for you to actually cook the bread, it's interesting because they don't have a proper bread oven. Instead, it winds up being a sort of mix of cultures where it's similar to like the bread from your home versus the fry bread you see in sort of Native American cultures. So it's this really interesting mix of cultures. And when you try the bread once it's done cooking, it tastes fantastic. And it's completely unique in its flavor because of this mix of cultures, and it's kind of lumpy because you had a child helping you, but it's not really like anything you've ever tasted before.
Yeah. Demir, like once the bread is done and she's tapped it to make sure it's good, she's going to take the loaf and like break it and give a good piece to to Ebba and just say, now, the best kind of bread you can make is the bread that you make for yourself. Try it.
She takes it from your hand, looks it over, and then kind of just shoves it into her mouth in the way that 6-year-olds do.
And Zamir is just very entertained watching this. See? That's what I told you. The best bread.
Are you going to stay and make more bread?
I'll stay as long as the rest of us are here.
Well, I mean, we do move around a lot. And you can move with us and you can make us more bread. And from your conversation with Edgar, they don't always have the resources to make bread, so it's sort of something of a rare treat. So, and she's keen on the idea, like, maybe she'll stick around and she'll make me all the bread I want.
Perhaps, little one. I do not know. It's up to others in our group. And Demir kind of like looks over to Aaron.
Aaron at this point has given up on waiting outside his mother's tent and has gotten cold and has moved back into your guys' tent.
Well, Demir is going to look in the direction of Aaron, not necessarily at him. And yeah. When Levy comes over, Demir is going to offer her a chunk of the bread that she baked.
Levy will exchange a piece of the cheese.
Put the goat cheese on the bread.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's gonna like be like, ooh, cheese, bread, and cheese and bread, cheese on the bread
and
with
cheese.
the cheese,
At
delicious.
last, the ultimate snack.
The poison for Cusco. Cusco's poison.
It's the butter dog thing, but it's cheesy bread. Cheesy bread, the bread with the cheese, put the cheese on the bread.
Precisely.
Levy hands Demir a piece of cheese and then also puts some cheese on the bread that Demir gives her and does a very similar move as the child did and just kind of goes
the goat cheese on the bread, it's like warm and gooey and it's fantastic.
She's gonna give Demir like a thumbs up. I'm like, this is really good bread. Like,
Demir is just very amused. And she's going to put the 2 last pieces of bread of the loaf that she made. I mean, she made many loaves, but I guess the loaf that she is specifically eating, she is going to put the 2 last pieces and kind of wrap them up and put them near the fire so that they'll still remain warm but not in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
so they don't burn, but like,
Yeah, exactly.
good toasty warm bread.
Exactly. How are the goats?
The goats were delightful, actually.
Is that so?
Oh yes. We went for a walk and everything. It was just a lovely day. Goats.
I'm glad.
Some days I miss the farm. So stuff like this is kind of like a little taste of home.
Did you have goats on your farm?
Did she have goats?
Do you want her to have had goats?
Kinda.
Yes, she had goats then. You're allowed to make decisions for your character.
I just listen. I like to make sure. I'm so sorry. There's like Schoolhouse Rock happening in the background.
It's cool. We're gonna wrap up soon anyway.
Okay, cool. She's going to enthuse about her goats. And it's really hard to do a character voice right now because there are so many things happening in the background and my brain keeps wanting to do those voices.
Listen, no pressure.
It's all good.
You good?
We
Schoolhouse Rock
mentally
is paused.
translated into Levy's voice.
Schoolhouse Rock has been paused. We can now proceed. Now my brain tried to set itself on fire. Oh, we do stand my roommate in this house.
We do.
We do.
She sounds wonderful.
She's great. We're singing your praises over here, Beach.
I'm just crocheting like a granny.
Anyways, Levy will proceed to kind of enthuse about her goats. And she will enthuse about one in particular, which I am going to name Flower because I am currently very uncreative. But also it seems like something she would do. So name a goat Flower. And I've decided that this goat is full of absolute piss and vinegar and has eaten several pairs of Levy's shoes.
Probably several pairs of your sisters too. And poets.
She's just really eaten everybody's shoes, really, but mostly mine. I'm her favorite. That's how she shows her love.
Eat shoes, y'all.
Is that?
That's weird.
I don't know anything about goats, so
Maybe I should show you the goats sometime.
Sure.
They're really funny little creatures.
Sure. Demir kind of like makes sure that her boots are like tucked in her bag and not within goat range.
These ones didn't go for my boots. I'm pretty sure yours are safe.
Okay.
One
Sure.
did want Toby's cloak, though.
Animals usually eat clothing, shoes.
Mostly just goats.
Okay. Interesting choice. I don't quite understand, but
I don't think anybody does.
Levy, I love you so much.
She's just like goats. Demir has unlocked the secret goat autism.
The deep goat lore.
Demir is listening along and just kind of like, oh, okay.
Well, I
Sure.
guess this is what I'm hearing about now.
Yeah. I think she's not discouraging it or like shutting it down. And when Levy says something like totally off the walls about goats, she's just kind of like, what? But you know, she's engaged. She's an engaged listener.
How close are you two sitting right now? You said before you were next to the fire in the middle of camp that has been rekindled. Are you guys like cuddled up together, or are you just sitting, chatting? Like,
I feel like
you're
Levy would have plopped herself
her.
right down, like right next to Demir. Just sort of
Yeah.
basically on top of her.
Yeah, basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
Demir is just kind of like she's resting back on her arm, but her arm is like behind Levy, so that they're kind of like, you know, the like hug shell that you do when you're sitting next to someone real close.
mhm.
okay. I would like the two of you to roll perception checks.
All right.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's a 17. These dice really fucking like me.
it's a 8 for me. I am too busy pondering goats.
Yeah, Demir, you're more focused on Levy in front of you and her info dumping and how excited she is to be talking about this. But you don't notice. Levy, however, you notice that some of the people around the camp seem to be kind of looking in the distance. And when you follow their gaze, they are facing towards the south. You see 3 people coming out of the distance, heading towards the camp. And the people around are starting to murmur, and a couple are looking worried enough to grab their spears, but others are just looking to try and see if they recognize these figures, to see if it's either of the hunting parties returned.
Okay. Levy's gonna kind of clue in and focus in and stop talking about goats. Listen, I know we all want her to keep talking about goats, but I don't know a lot about goats, so there's only so much I can make her say about goats.
Boo, only goats. This is a goat podcast now.
My roommate wants to talk about goats to you guys, apparently. Just to me, so I know about goats for D&D purposes. You want
How do you know I joined this campaign for goat facts?
Well, tough titties.
Anyways, yeah, Levy will stop talking about goats and kind of nudge Demir with, I presume their shoulders are kind of like pushed together at this point and go,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of with the hand that isn't kind of involved in the sitting far too close to each other, where the fuck do our limbs go? Tangle there. Gonna point with the hand not involved in that. I'm so sorry, sir. I just stepped on the dog. It's fine. She's gonna point and kind of start standing up, and she will kind of actually maneuver around the fire and Demir a little bit to kind of put herself in between whatever potential danger might be there and Demir. Because that's her prerogative lately, apparently.
Yeah,
Alright.
Demir is going to, like, once Levy points out, she's going to look over that direction and start to stand up as well, just
Okay.
to see if I can make out who it is.
Looking closer, and as you guys kind of squint and see in the distance, you realize that this is the second hunting party. You had sort of seen them briefly in passing this morning, and there's 3 of them. There's Dimphna, Morana, and Volos. And they have the 3 of them had gone to check the snares in the forest. And as they approach, you can see something is clearly wrong. Morana is walking with a heavy limp, and Dimphna has Volo's arm over her shoulders, and the people of the Snow Spears tribe around you start to kind of put away their weapons and approach to help and to see what they could do to help. And Vitatis emerges from his tent where he had been working after he left you and the goats, and he like pulls the tent flap aside and is like looking around, and he just he looks at the three of them and he sees it first, and he says, what happened? Do you need healing? What happened? And at this point you can see that the three of them have heavy burns on their bodies, fresh. And Dimphna looks towards Vitatis and says, take Volos. I need to speak to Nethai immediately. And that is where we will call session.
Spooky. Uh-oh.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hooray, a lead.
no!
Oh God, a lead.
Like basically, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, no.
none of you guys went with the snare group, so
They got a little fucking up. No,
well, you guys. Well, yeah, it just means that you guys didn't take any burn damage.
Yeah, we took cold
Exactly.
damage instead.
Nobody ended up with more burn scars. Oh, if only Aaron had gone with them. Just
Oh,
add
Jesus.
more burns.
Let's not
Anyway,
re-traumatize the man.
thanks for playing, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Hopefully we can get Devin
Yeah.
next time.
Yay!
I am so glad we managed to get sessions in. So
Yeah,
I
this is
am
great.
so damn happy right now.
I will admit that I did end up stalling a little bit with this one, just in terms of details and whatnot. But I'm glad it worked
That's
out.
fine.
It's been
We live
fun,
for the
honestly.
details.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, thanks for playing, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
See you guys around. Have a good night.
Nighttime, not Saturday session.
Yeah.
The Wild
Have a good night
Roses.
and have a good Christmas too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
happy
see you guys
holidays.
next week.
Happy
Yeah.
holidays,
Holidays.
guys.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
Bye.
Have a good holiday, everybody.
Yeah.